Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birthday given name. Happy Tuesday. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. Got a word for you. Tap in. Are you a people pleaser? Are you a people pleaser? Are you a people pleaser? So guys, I don't even know how I missed that recording from Pastor Blake's on yesterday. I missed that one. I think he must have posted it right before the live. But honey, you talking about jumping up and down, screaming. Listen, if you guys didn't see it, I'll be sure to post it in the description section of this recording. Listen, you talking about profound. All right, so I want to piggyback off of a few things. All right, so to start, a lot of times we don't even realize that we're carrying that people-pleasing seed. A lot of times that seed accumulates because of things that you experienced in your past, right? This can be, and of course it's never one size fit all here, right? It could be you were rejected, right? You were given up for adoption and you never had closure, or a parent just wasn't there, or just maybe you got bullied in school, or maybe you just was never accepted and things of that nature, right? So ultimately it's about developing the seed that almost makes you attempt to please everyone and be responsible for everyone, even when it's detriment to your own mental health, for your own well-being. So the point is, you're not doing it because you want to do it, right? Because listen, some people just have a heart to serve, especially my empaths here, right? Team empaths, you naturally just have a heart to serve. That's a beautiful gift. But when it comes to the point where you're now sacrificing certain things and you're only doing it to be accepted or because you don't want someone upset, things like that, that's a problem. Then you're operating more from a people-pleasing seed. So it's completely different when you're just helping because it's what you love to do versus allowing people to use you, take advantage of you and things like that, and just feeling like you have to be responsible for people. So again, many times it's certain seeds that is developed and you don't even realize where it's coming from. So if that is you, I encourage you to go back to look at your childhood to kind of really figure out, where was I rejected? Where was I, even some individuals were placed in adult roles as children. So you may have had parents who, I don't know, maybe have worked, 2 and 3 jobs, or maybe addicted to drugs and never home. And you was a child who had to take care of all your siblings, even though you were a child yourself. So basically, you were put in a role as an adult. So you are used to taking on everybody else's stuff. So then we grow up, and what happens? That seed just metastasize. And you don't even realize it's happening. Because it's your identity at some point. It's just what you've always done. And so you get to a point in life where you're operating from that people-pleasing seed and just doing this and helping this. Everybody's calling you and everybody's putting their stuff on you, and you're just busy accepting it and doing it and doing it and doing it because that's what you've always done. And then what happens? You attract needy people. So here you have a needy spouse who you're trying to play their God. You have needy friends, and you're the only one in the group that everybody calls. Like, that's cute. That's not cute, right? You're the only one in the group that everybody calls, and it makes you feel so great that everybody needs you. You needing to feel needed is because something is missing within you. You having a desire to be the person at the table that everyone looks to and everyone prays how you're the king or you're the queen, and there's something in you that's missing. And you're trying to fill that void of just people needing you versus trying to tap in and identify what that hole is about. Whole, HOLE, what that hole is really about. What I've learned is this: God will not open certain doors. God will not be a part of that charade with certain doors. Because if he opens certain doors, mind you, he's opening doors for you to be able to, complete his will, purpose for your life, things like that. And so that's heavy by itself, right? That's heavy by itself. So he's not going to open a certain door where you already have the weight of so many other toxic people on top of you, just to open the door where you can just be bombarded with more stress. No, that stuff needs to be removed first. He won't open certain doors. He won't open certain doors to marriages when you got toxic moms giving you all the wrong advice, toxic dads, whatever, whoever's in your life. God is not going to open certain doors. So you want him to give you a husband, but 35,000 people depend on you to pay your cell phone bill. You think... Listen, no judgment here. Trust me, I had to learn, right? It's us. We be sitting here like feeling like we're in such, I just don't understand this punishment. Why won't God open certain doors, or why? It's us. So he starts stripping us to heal us so he can give us better. But when we're going through these strippings, we feel like, oh, it's punishment. What did I do? He's helping you because you can't help yourself. You're not strong enough to help yourself to get rid of some of these people, including some family, some friends, regardless of who they are. If they are bringing you no peace, firm boundaries have to be in place, or straight cut off. When you get to certain seasons, now if you're okay with living, unhealed and just all over the place and just drama and stuff like that, then this ain't for you, right? This ain't for you, because that's really your norm. Again, healing hurts. Healing, it's such prosperous things that God will give you, but it hurts. It's hard. Healing is hard. So don't force yourself, right? If you're fine, you have people who are fine with living in mess, in drama, and some people are very comfortable there. Then this is not for you. Stay in that foolishness. But I'm speaking about people who are trying to elevate, right? And you're healing, and God is processing you in certain areas. And what will happen is you will start to realize that relationships will start to end in different ways. And it hurts because you're used to a certain thing, right? You're used to, that's what you're used to. You're comfortable there because they all need you, but God needs you. And so he starts chopping off relationships one at a time. Something will happen. Just whatever, however the scenario ends, it has to end. And then you start to realize more and more how light things are. And it's like, wow, I never even knew peace could exist. Speaking in general here, I never knew the peace could exist, because you're so used to just being in drama, in trauma. And then you get a taste of peace, and then it's almost like, well, wait a minute, it's too quiet. It's too quiet. I think I was telling Bishop Sam and Pastor R.C. Blinks and First Lady Lisa and their beautiful mom at dinner. It's crazy because at one point I was so used to my staff always calling me. I mean, sickening, calling me about every little thing. And then I realized when God started to pull me apart for different purposes and things like that, it's almost like now they're not calling me. I have to call them like, hey, is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, everything's fine, boss lady. And I'm just like, so Bishop Sam was like, it's crazy. We be asking God for peace. And then when we get it, we don't even know what to do with ourselves. Because we're so used to being mixed up in foolishness, right? But it's true. So when you get to that point where you realize like, wow, like wow, it's really quiet. What am I supposed to be doing with myself right now? That's where God wants you at, because now you can hear him. Now you can hear him. And so because your life is so peaceful and you don't have all toxic people pulling at you, and you're not constantly in this uproar with your emotions because you're saying yes when you don't want to say yes. Speaking of that, here's a few signs that you could potentially be a people pleaser. You have a hard time saying no. So just say no. But then you're battling with yourself back and forth in your head. Like, well, if I say no, who's going to do it for them? If I say no, are they going to be mad? If I say no, but I'm the one who always do it, and they're not going to know how to do it. If I say no. Next, saying yes to going when you know you don't want to go. So someone invites you to a party, someone invites you to a baby shower, and you just feel like, well, I have to be there because this person is my friend, or I have to be there because X, Y, and Z. Everyone wants to see my face. They know I get the party started, whatever. But you know you're tired. You know you're going through your own personal stuff, and you just don't even have the drive and the motivation. But you say yes versus saying, you know what, sis, you know what, bro, whatever. I'm really going through some stuff right now. I'm not even going to sit here and dwell on it, but I'm just not in that space mentally. And I'm sorry. You know I love you. You know I always got your back any other time, but this time I just can't. Instead, you will go break down, mentally drained, tired, and you're sitting there, and now your energy is off, which is now setting other people's energy off, all because you don't know how to say, I can't come this time. So it's ultimately about when you don't feel like it. When you don't feel like it, you do it. Now, granted, you may feel like it. There's nothing wrong with saying yes. I say yes a lot, right? There's nothing wrong with saying yes. It's just that, do you want to do it? Do you want to say yes? Is it something that's beneficial? Is it something that God needs you to do? What is this yes all about? Are you just having a great day and you don't mind going because you're in a great mood? Then fine, let's do it. Let's party. But if I'm coming home from work and it's a crazy day at work and I'm just drained and I'm dealing with family issues and I'm dealing with this and this and this and that, and I'm sitting at my table, just stressed out and can barely even hold my head up because and now I got to get dressed to come. Here's another, I said that. Even after saying no, you feel bad. Now, you said no, but now the rest of your day is spent feeling bad for the person because you said no. Another sign that you could be a people pleaser is that even after you say yes, you get angry with yourself. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, that's right. When you say yes, if they call and say, hey, can you do this? Can you come here? And you say yes, even though you don't want to, you get mad with yourself. You are literally mad with yourself because you said yes to somebody when you wanted to say no. If that ain't people pleasing. But again, we have to stop beating ourselves up. We have to stop blaming ourselves. Because remember, you are just a product of your environment. You were taught that stuff. You were placed in situations when you were maybe even children. All you know is all you know. I think people beat themselves up to the point where it almost like they beat themselves up so bad that it's almost like you can't even, how do you even start to try to get up and heal and do the right things? Because you're too down on yourself. You got to forgive yourself for what you didn't know. I didn't know. All I know is what I knew. But then God will start to expose you to things. He will start to expose you to the light. And it's almost like he's exposing you now because it's like, all right, I know you didn't know then, but this is why your life has been in so much hell. Because you were taught that, quote unquote, blood is thicker than water, even though they can be toxic times 10, but you stick with 100 family members, even though they're toxic, because blood is thicker than water. And these same folks are trying to kill you. But blood is thicker than water. These same folks is the reason why you're struggling with your mental health. But blood is thicker than water. So what do you do? Well, for one, it will be a challenge, in all honesty, right? You just don't go from having a people pleaser seed because you were rejected in childhood and all the stuff like that to one day just waking up and saying, no, 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 no. And if you can, I mean, that'll be amazing, right? But it may be a process. You may have to start again with boundaries. First and foremost, I think the first thing you do is you go to God, right? You already know the people who's disturbing your peace. There's no doubt about that, right? You already know who is disturbing your peace. There's no question. Every time you get around these people, there's somebody who I know. Listen, it could be the brightest day of all days, meaning everyone's in a great mood. Everything's just perfect. Everybody's energy is just great. The sun is shining and everybody's happy. And the minute this person walks in the room, this person steals everybody's energy. All because their spirit is dark. Their spirit is just, it sets the tone. So everybody in that room can go from just having a great time to now everybody's walking on eggshells. Man, listen. You know those people who disturb your spirit. Those people that you have to keep telling the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? And now you're coming out of character every single time you see them, every time they're in your presence. You are coming out of character because you're frustrated about what they would not do. We are jeopardizing our mental sanities by fussing and arguing with people, trying to get them to change for they can see their best self. What? Really? I'm telling you, it's a whole zoo. But once you get to a place, again, when God starts to really work on you and God starts to really change you, see, again, this is why healing is important, because when you're healed or in a healing process, the things that you were once that you had in common, like you can be around toxic people and it didn't bother you, like they're just toxic, they're just gossiping and it just don't even bother you like that. Well, after a certain point, it will disturb your spirit. So you wouldn't even want, well, as far as gossiping, I've never, ever liked gossipers. Ever liked gossipers. But I'm trying to make a point here. Whatever that thing is for you, it will disturb your spirit. It would disturb your spirit to go sit in a house full of people, even though that they're quote unquote blood is thicker than water. And these are people that you've known all your life. You're at a family reunion and the energy is all the way off because Uncle Bob from the granddaddy side of John Harry done molested the whole freaking room. Now everybody in here, everybody's energy is off. You got this one who don't like, the auntie don't like the niece because the niece is pretty and she think her and now everybody got their red cup at the cookout. Everybody's dancing and everybody energy is off. But only certain people will be able to tap into that energy. Let me just rephrase that, because the other people are just, they think it's just normal, right? They think it's just normal. And you're looking around like, I'm about to sneak out this back door and I ain't never coming again. I ain't never coming again, right? But again, and that's not everybody's family. Let's be clear here. Some people have great families, families who are supportive and really have each other's back. So that's not everybody's situation. I'm just speaking in general as a whole here, how we are conditioned as people to think that we have to be around toxic people just because they're family, even though they're stressing us out. And so that video that Pastor Blake's posted, that I'm going to put in the description, it was mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Why are we feeling responsible for adults? Why do you have parents who feel responsible to pay their child's child support? You're paying a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old child support, and you're the elder here, that they really should be taking care of you. Seriously? And then you have those people who, because they can't put their foot down, right? Meaning they have everybody pull from them. And because they don't know how to say no, then they turn around and put that pressure on you. So now they're calling you about obligations that they've made to other people. And it's a trickle-down effect. And now because you can't say no, now you're worried about your life, their life, and then all the other people's life that they have signed up for. And we think that's normal. And these same people, trust me, you probably can't even get a dime from these people, but they're calling you. So it's about boundaries. The people who disturb your spirit, take it to God. Lord, you know you're trying to work on me, where you're working on me, and you see that this person is constantly playing with my mind, my emotions, all the stuff like that. You know what it's doing to me. How do I put boundaries up? Do I cut them completely off? Or do I just limit their access to me? What does that look like? And I'm a firm believer in God will give you the boundaries versus you trying to compare your life with someone else's life and say, well, this person only do this. No, you got God to tell you. There's been a person or two that God says cut off for life. Until they get their life right with me and I can really work on and change their spirit, there's going to always be a clash because you're light and they're dark. So it's going to always be a clash. So until you hear from me, you cut them off for life because it's just never going to work. We are trying to make and force things to work. That's just never going to work. Why are we trying to force? Relationships should be easy. I have relationships now where it's easy. It's easy. You don't try to force. But that's what we've been doing, right? Where I have other relationships where it's like, okay, no, this is what I want you to do, right? Because again, there are some people that they're going to be in our lives for certain reasons, and God may want us to still deal with them, but He will tell you how to limit and what to do. This is what you do. You already know that this person don't such and such, so do it this way. This is the limit, and that's that. This is the cutoff. That's that. Right? Then there are certain people, okay, I need you to deal with them, but keep them out of your personal life because you already know all they do is run their mouth. So you already know about spiritual warfare when people are talking and things like that. So you keep this way, but you don't open your mouth when it comes down to something personal. Right? Then there's other people or other things where, okay, you put in a corner and you only answer, you only answer your phone. No, matter of fact, you let them know to only call you for X, Y, and Z. Right? And if they happen to cross that boundary and call you for something petty or just whatever, then you let them know when they call it, listen, we agreed here. If you call my phone with this nonsense again, you're going to get blocked, period. You're going to get blocked, period, right? You have to make people respect you. You have to make people respect you. You have to make people respect you. And if you don't, then you can't have access to me, point blank, period. But see, that can only comes when you get to a certain level of processing. And again, this is why it's important not to beat yourself up because you don't know. But once you know, then you start making the tweaks, right? And then you will realize that once you get to a certain level, how your whole energy would shift, and then how you will start to attract a certain energy. You're not attracting toxic people. And if you're not careful, if God exposed you to heal whole, people, et cetera, and you start letting those crazy toxic folks back in who refuse to heal. And granted now, God may send you back to even try to help some of them start their healing process. But that's probably going to be, one or two, if that, who's even on board to do that. Because again, some people are okay with living a crazy toxic lifestyle, but the ones who truly want out, the ones who want better, the ones who want to grow, I do think it's important that you do go back and attempt to help. I think that's very, very important. And God will give you the grace to do that. But if you're not careful, God can be sitting here blessing you with some whole healthy people, whole healthy relationships, whole healthy environments. Like he has given you everything in due season because you did the work. And now you're letting these toxic folks come in and put their 2 cents in, right? You're letting your unhealed toxic mom who can't even hold down her own relationship or marriage or just, you're letting her in your house to tell you what to do with your husband. Okay. Or if you're a guy, you're letting your toxic, unhealed mom who just always cause chaos in everybody's life come in your home to criticize your wife, and you don't want to speak up because you're a people pleaser, and you don't want to say nothing because she's going to So it's not easy, right? It sounds easy. It's not easy. And there's going to be times where you trip up and you allow the boundary to you forget and you just get back in your own ways, but God will convict you. He will let something happen. You kind of get comfortable, and before you know it, those boundaries are down and you kind of let people back in. Boom, he's going to hurt your feelings again. The person will do something that's going to cross you, that's going to upset you, and it's almost like you're going to want to beat yourself up because it's like, why did I even trust this fool again, knowing how this person is? So then God will say, listen, I allow that to happen so you can realize that you've been slipping. You let that boundary down, even though I told you to keep it in place. So I'm going to let it hurt your feelings right quick so you can just, boom, get right back to it. So you fall, you get up. You fall, you get up. You fall, you get up. That's all. You're going to lose a lot of people. You're going to lose a lot of people because people don't like boundaries. People don't like boundaries. I got a staff right now. She's probably listening because she always listens. I don't care. I really don't care because she's getting on my nerves right now. I love her though. Gave her a job, gave her opportunity, screwed it up. It is what it is, right? Everybody got their stuff. Everybody got their struggles. Screwed it up. Gave her a job again. Screwed it up. Fired her. She's a good worker when in the sense of work, like her work itself. She's a great worker, but she's got her stuff. Then I hired her to do something else, not like a job, just something else. Work, screwed it up. Now you're ringing my phone. What do you want? What do you want? Because I gave you a job twice. You screwed it up. I gave you opportunity, screwed it up. What are you calling me now for? Because at this point now, I don't have anything for you at all, period. Boundaries. Where easily someone could say, well, I wouldn't give it a second chance. So I didn't have the okay from God. Sometimes God will have you to work with people, right? Maybe not. Sometimes it's our own stuff. It could be my own stuff. I don't know. But I didn't feel like I had the clearance from God to say, don't help at all. Because sometimes God will use a person as a vessel to keep giving you chances, because it's almost like you can never look at God and say, well, it's just unfair. No one else has ever given me a chance. And, I just never had the chance in life because my childhood was so messed up and no one ever gives me a chance. So it's unfair. So I just can lay here in the mud and just cry. And God is like, all right. All right, I'm going to use somebody going to give you a chance, right? Because see, when this goes sour, you can't come back to me and say, nobody give me a chance. No. You can't come to me now and say that. So now there's no options. Boom, get right. Get right. No more excuses. Get right. Because I'm going to block all your blessings. I'm not going to open any doors until you fight these demons the way I tell you to fight them. I know you have demons. I know what you've been through. But I'm going to keep locking doors until you make a decision to go get healed. At least try. Because if you try, I'll then give you, she must be listening because my spirit is ignited right now. If you try, I will give you the grace to conquer. But you won't even try. So I'm going to lock every door until you bring your behind to therapy. So you bring your behind to me so you can get healed on whatever you got going on. That went left, so I'm sure she's listening. Don't call my phone, sis, because I'm not answering today. I'm telling you now. They call me the nicest, meanest person. I'm going to love on you. But I'm going to stay on your neck. So I wanted to share that, guys. But keep pushing, guys. It's so hard. You know, I'm transparent about that. That has been one of my struggles for a very, very long time. Now, I'm so much better now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect and I have it all figured out. And I'm still great at setting firm boundaries. And I've mastered not letting someone, control my emotions at times. And I'm not saying that. But let me tell you something. I'm so much better. But it took a lot of work. So you can do it, guys. You can do it. You got to know that you deserve peace. You got to know that the things that God have on hold that he won't release because of the people around you, that you deserve this stuff. So you got to put the fight in. When God starts removing these people, it's going to break your heart. Some of those things are going to drop you to your knees. I promise you. But you got to let him do it, because on the other side of that is peace that surpasses all understanding. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.